First and foremost, I would like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rekakwadash. I would like to give all praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, and give double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that pushing this truth and sincerity on the four winds of the earth, and to the other Akim and Akwat, the few that are watching. I would like to say Shalom. In this lesson today, it's about Jacob's trouble. You know? And it's a great tribulation that's coming up on the house of Israel. You have the men pushing the truth and sincerity. And really, I'm in a sorrowful spirit today. And the other brothers, they're teaching the same truth. All hell is about to break loose. And I'm gonna have to read it. But I'm gonna take my time today, Israel. And like I say, I'm in a sorrowful spirit. Because we continue to cry out to the house of Israel, which consists of the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. In the true men of the Lord are constantly blowing the trumpet, sounding the alarm. But they're not hearkening to the voice of Yahweh. It's a great slaughter. It's about to take place in the house of Israel. And that they're not teaching in these Salakia, the plantation slave building, that Christianity is leading our people astray. So I'm going to read. This is the time we're in. We're not in a time of mirth. Having a good old time and partying. Because it's great death and destruction is coming to the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. So we're in the time of Jacob's trouble. And we Jeremiah chapter 30. I'm going to start at verse 7. Salakia. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. The time of Jacob's trouble is going to be a time that it never been since the planet Earth has been inhabited. It never been a time that is gonna we can even go back to the transatlantic slave trade, the sub-Saharan slave trade, the silk trade, by our people being lynched, burnt alive in the streets. It's going to be way worse than that. It's going to be like a picnic. Well, I won't say picnic because a picnic is wicked. I would use the term of, just walking through the park in the summertime and you having your favorite ice cream that you want to eat. you can compare the transatlantic slave trade, the sub-Saharan slave trade, the silk trade. It's going to be like a walk in the park for what's coming. Okay? So, just bear with me, it's real. Because my spirit is really heavy right now. Because we understand, before I get into these scriptures, I'm going to have to talk a little bit. Because the hopefully elect that's pushing the truth and teaching this doctrine on the four winds of the earth, we understand what's about to happen. So I'm going to go ahead and go into the scriptures. I'm going to start with the book of Hosea, chapter 4. I'm going to read chapter 4. I'm going to read it all the way to verse 3. Hear the word of the Lord, ye children of Israel, will consist of the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. This is what the Most High Yahweh said. For the Lord had a controversy with the inhabitants of the land. What land is the Most High talking about? Talking about the land of Israel. Israel is a people before it's a place. So it's talking, the Most High Yahweh, it's talking to the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. Because there is no truth, no mercy, no knowledge of the God, Yahweh, in the land. Our people, they done forsaken the Most High Yahweh. There's no truth of our God, our power. By swearing and lying and killing and stealing and committing adultery, physical adultery and spiritual adultery, by taking on these foreign gods and these foreign religions. You know, man-made religions. The so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Hey, you only have one power, which is Yahweh. So our people are committing a spiritual fornication by taking on the ways of Christianity, serving their ventures, and our people love to run to Islam. Okay, they break out and blood touches blood. Okay, so the Most High, He have a controversy with our people. But our people don't understand, they have no idea what's about to take place. You know, the true men of the Lord is constantly crying and blowing the trumpet. But our people, they don't want to hearken to the word, to the voice of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua. Okay, let me do this. Oh, there we go. Let's see. It's locked, it's real. Go to we're going to go to Micah 6:2. Hear ye, O mountains, the Lord's controversy, and ye strong foundation of the earth. For the Lord hath a controversy with his people, and will plead with Israel. So Yahweh, he have a controversy with his people, which consists of the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. He have a controversy with his people. because our people turn their back on the Most High Yahweh, which our Savior is Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. And Yahweh is our power, which the world ignorantly calls God. So the Most High have a controversy because the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, they turn their backs on the living true power. And they turn their backs on him for idols. So Yahweh have a controversy. He's about to bring a great death, a great killing, a great slaughter. It was coming to the land of America, the North Country. This wicked kingdom is teaching our people to be wicked as hell. And our people are thinking that this land or United States of America is about to turn back to normal. But that's far from the truth. It's a great slaughter. Death and destruction is coming. World War III is brewing up as we speak. Martial law. FEMA camps. Okay? Foreign troops. It's about to be taking control over this land. And they're bringing death and destruction. Okay? So, the Most High have a controversy with his people. It's a great slaughter. I'm going to take my time today, Israel, because my spirit is troubled. My spirit is really troubled. And I don't know no other way to bring this lesson out. My spirit, I'm drained right now because it's a great slaughter coming to our people. So we're going to go to 2 Kings. You know what? Before I even go any further, before I go to 2 Kings, I was watching some videos of some brothers from the Great Millstone Camp, the GMS camp. And as we go into this lesson, as we get deeper into the lesson, these brothers had some visions that's in the scriptures. And one of the brothers, we need 3 brothers. It was one from the camp of Mississippi of GMS, Elder Kazak, and it was another elder from the Dallas GMS camp, Yashawamba. And there was another brother, I can't think of his name right off. It'll come to me, but they had the same vision. And the one that stood out the most, but they all had the same, it was the same vision. But it was this one brother that I can't think of his name right now, Salaki, but it'll come to me. But he had this vision that he was in a FEMA camp. And there was a lot of children that was crying for their parents. Okay? He said they were screaming and crying, well, my mama or my dad, whatever. But he said he was listening to it, but all of a sudden he said something that caught his attention. He said he seen this, it was a newborn baby. Was in a bird cage, a big bird cage. keep in mind that he hearing all these little children, they crying, and they screaming, hollering for their mom and their dad. But he said what got his attention was that baby. It was a newborn infant. It was just laying in this big bird cage. So he said they caught his attention. So he kept focusing on it. He said all of a sudden, he seen this Edomite, which is the so-called white man, the goddamn devil that the Bible speaks of. He said he seen him walk out of this room. He had a white lab jacket on. He remember seeing these gloves he had on. I want to say he said it was like a blue, like a light blue type glove, if I'm saying it right. But it had blood all on his gloves in the lab coat. So all of a sudden, he come and take the baby out of this bird cage. But keep in mind, he said the baby was crying and just screaming before this Edomite came and got it. So it made him focus on the baby. See, the baby was crying and kicking and screaming the whole time. He said all of a sudden the Edomite come and grab the baby and pick him up, take him in the back. So as the baby was being taken to the back by this Edomite, all of a sudden he hear the children that he heard crying before, they start even crying even louder and worse. Salakia. And so he said he heard the baby crying, and then all of a sudden the baby went from a screaming crying to a cough. And he heard this buzzsaw cutting. He cutting the baby up alive in his FEMA camps. That's what's coming, Israel. And his brother said, it brought him to tears as you wake up out of his sleep. Just keep this in mind, Israel. The Most High Yahweh, who you ignorantly call God, the Most High have a controversy with our wicked ass people, which consists of the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. The Most High is causing this death and destruction upon our people. Okay? So we're going to go to 2 Kings. The Most High, he don't play no games, man. The Most High is a dangerous power. And as we get into this lesson, I'm going to take my time today. I'm not going to be looking at no timetable. I don't care how long it takes. I'm going to take my time. The way the Most High want me to bring this class out today, it's going to be just the way he wants. Okay? Most High Yahweh have a controversy. Keep that in mind with our wicked people. 2 Kings, chapter 8, verse 8 through 11. No, I'm going to start at verse 10. And Elisha said unto him, Go say unto him, Thou mayest certainly recover, howbeit the Lord has showed me that he should surely die. Okay, so Elisha was a prophet, and he was under the prophet Elijah. Okay, so to give you an idea of who Elisha is to the hopeful elect that they really don't know. So, okay. And to give you more insight on what's happening. Okay, Hazael, or Hazael, he was the second in charge up under the king of Assyria. So he was second in charge, okay? And so the king of Assyria, he was grave sick. So he sent Hazael to the prophet Elisha to see if Elisha would give him some good news, or if the king of Assyria would live, or if he was going to perish. Okay? So keep that in mind. And he settled his countenance steadfastly until he was ashamed, and the man of God wept. So the man of God was Elisha. So Elisha wept. But why did Elisha cry and weep? And Hazael said, "Why weeping, my Lord?" And he answered, "Because I know the evil that thou wilt do unto the children of Israel." So Elisha, he knew the death and destruction that was coming up on the 12 tribes of Israel. Mainly, this is the northern kingdom. And the strongholds, and would thou set on fire. And so Elisha seen what Hazael was going to do to the children of Israel, which would be the northern kingdom. And this is what he saw. "And their strongholds would thou set on fire, and their young men would thou slay with the sword, and would dash the children to pieces, and rip up their women with child." So the Most High's fierce anger, he put up on Hazael to destroy the children of Israel, to slay them and slaughter them up, cut them up like Swiss cheese. Okay? So what we'll do is, I'm going to jump to 2 Kings chapter 10 and verse 32. And this is going to bag up what Elisha was seeing, or what he knew was going to happen to the children of Israel. "In those days the Lord began to cut Israel short, and Hazael smote them, and all the coast of Israel, from Jordan eastward, all the land of Gilead, the Gadites, is the northern kingdom, and the Reubenites, Manassites, from Aurora, which by the river of Aram, even Gilead and Bashan." So the prophet Elisha, he knew what great slaughter was coming to our people. He wept. He wept and he cried. And that was in the ancient world. But right now, it's about to happen all over again. He wept and he cried because he knew our people was heading for a great slaughter. And that's what's about to happen all over again. When you go to Ecclesiastes 3:15, Ecclesiastes 1:9, everything is happening in reincarnation, regeneration. We in the end of the prophecies, and it's about to happen all over again. But this time, like I said, in Jacob's trouble, it's going to be a time, Jeremiah 30:7, it's going to be a time where never been the planet Earth been inhabited by people. It's going to be a time that's about to happen that it never happened. It's going to be it's going to be an evil that the Most High is about to bring upon this wicked kingdom. Okay? This is a wicked kingdom. We're going to go to 2nd Esdras. Okay, 2nd Esdras, what is it, 16? Second Esdras chapter 16. We'll start at verse 70. For there shall be in every place and the next city a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord Yahweh. It's about to be a great insurrection upon the 1/3 hopefully elect. They coming to put the hopefully elect to death. Some of us will die. And the hopefully elect, we believe in this doctrine as it's written. We believe in it uncut. We believe in the name Yahweh, which is the God of the Israelites, because it's of the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. And we believe in the name Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. We believe that only the house of Israel, which consists of the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, are the only nation of people that will be delivered. We believe in the heathen nation going into captivity, the way they brought the 12 tribes of Israel into captivity. We believe that Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, is only the God of the Israelites. Okay? Let me read it again. 2nd Esdras, chapter 16, verse 70. We'll start at verse 70. For there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. That's who fear the Lord. The hopefully elected 1/3. Verse 71. They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. They're going to continue to slaughter the hopefully elect that fear the Lord. Some of the elect will be put to death, but as mortals, it's going to happen. For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. Then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as gold in the fire. It's going to be the day when the great tribulation come upon the children of Israel. Then it'll be known who the Most High elect are. The great persecution. The Edomites, the Amalekites that's inhabiting the land of Israel today, they're not going through any great tribulation. They have all the money, all the wealth. They're not getting cast out of their houses. They in our holy land. The Most High say that we will get cast out our house. Then, and then only, then they'll know who his elect in that day. Who all these atrocities is happening to? The so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Nobody else fit the curses. Nobody else fit the curses. Amalek, the so-called white man, don't fit the curses. The so-called Japanese, the so-called Chinese, the so-called Hamites, which they call us Africans. We're not Africans. You know, only the curse is up on the so-called Negroes and the so-called Mexicans, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. And when that day comes, then via this great tribulation, then you will know who are the Most High Yahweh's elect. Not you 2/3. You 2/3 will be put to death of our people right along with the heathen nations, because you drinking the cup of the wine, or should I say the goblet or pitcher, his philosophies. Only the elect that stand firm on the name Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, will be known in that day who the Most High elect is. You know, and there's great famine and great death and destruction. You know how people have no idea, no clue what's going on and what's about to happen. The so-called white man y'all putting y'all trust and faith in, he planning on putting an RFID microchip in you. Start with that wicked jab, you know. I'm going to speak on that briefly, but I'm going to move on. It's great death and destruction is coming. You have the Third World War. The Third War is brewing up right now as we speak. Let me speak on another brother, Elder Yashawamba, out of the GMS camp in Dallas. If I can remember exactly how he brought out the word, he had a vision. And you know what? I'm going to speak on this. I'm going to say this before I get into the vision that Elder Yashawamba he had. See, our wicked people consist of the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. They think this thing is like a walk in the park. No, you have no idea what's about to happen. This brother, what he saw in his vision is in the scriptures. And what he said was the slaughtering with Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. He was kicking in, he was coming into the Israelites' houses, kicking the doors in, raping their children right in front of their face, in front of their parents' face. Whether it would be a little boy or a little girl, setting them on fire while they was alive. Okay? Raping the women in front of their husband and their children. Raping the men in front of their families, children and wife. Gunning them down in front of their families. If I didn't mention, set them on fire alive in front of their families. Being eaten alive in front of their families. The Most High gonna make y'all see this right in front of your face when you scoff the men of the Lord. He's gonna mark you in your face. The Most High is a dangerous power. When you had a chance to see the men of the Lord, you didn't want to hear nothing he had to say, right? This brother seen this. He said when he came through, the first thing he could do, all he could do was start crying. It's real. It ain't gonna be nothing what y'all think it's gonna be. It's not gonna be something real quick and you think that you know, and it's gonna be over like that. No. Most High he gonna show you in front of your face. He gonna show you right in front of your face everything when you mark his men, his prophets and teachers and the elders, when they were bringing the word out in the streets, on the highways and the byways, putting up videos. He gonna mark you in your face. He also said they were being starved to death. Y'all have no idea what the Most High is capable of doing. When they teach all these in these plantation slave doctrine buildings. We're going to take it a little further. Second Esdras, chapter 16. And verse 17 through 19. This is how bad it's going to be, Israel. The so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Y'all ain't seen nothing yet. It's right around the corner. Y'all don't even know it. Ezra, this is what Ezra say. Woe is me. Woe is me. Woe means death and destruction. And the reincarnation, the regeneration, it's going to happen all over again. It's going to happen again. He said, woe is me, woe is me. Who will deliver me in those days? Ezra's know. Ezra's seen something that he never saw before. The beginning of sorrows and great mournings. Beginning of famines and great death is real. Israel. You never seen nothing like this about to happen. They ain't teaching you this in the Christianity, plantation, slave doctrine bill. Most High usually, man, we crying to y'all, man. We weeping. We weeping. I'm going to read it again. The 18th verse. The beginning of sorrows and great mournings. The beginning of famines. You'll see your children starve to death right before your eyeballs. You wicked Israelites. You wicked Israelites. We had a chance to listen to the men of the Lord. And you want to hear. And the great famine is coming. Your little babies, they're going to starve to death right in front of your face. There ain't going to be a damn thing you can do about it. Because y'all wicked as hell. You want to call them idols, Jesus Christ. You want to be indoctrinated by the ways of Esau, Edom. Okay? Y'all's God. And great death in the beginning of wars. And you 2/3 Israelite Negroes that think you tough and rough and tough. Guess what? You about to go to fight World War III. All you gangsters that think you gangsters, you tough. We're about to see how tough y'all think you are. You fixing to go fight in World War III. And guess who's gonna draft you? Who y'all even call God? Yahweh. He about to draft you wicked niggas. The beginning of wars and the power shall stand in fear. And the beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? What type of evils is coming upon this land? To the 2/3 of the Israelites, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. 2/3 of you will be put to death in a violent way. Behold, famines. No food for your bellies. No food for your children. And plagues. It's going to be some plagues that not even recorded in the scriptures. The Most High Yahweh have some special plagues for you special 2/3 Negroes. And you special part of the 2/3 the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. It's plagues that's not recorded in the scriptures. Tribulation, anguish, are sent scourges for amendments. And the Most High is fixing to bring a great slaughter. You can't even imagine what it's like. You can't even imagine it. But we know y'all ain't gonna listen. But we still gotta preach the word anyway. We still have to preach the word. We still have to, you know. See, Esau, the so-called white man, he fixing to come in like a madman. He fixing to slaughter everybody. Mainly you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Great slaughter. Okay? So we're gonna go. We're trying to scratch the surface a little bit. And Esau come with a great slaughter. Okay? They're trying to scratch the surface to let my people know what's coming. Matthew 24. And I'm going to start at verse 21. For there shall be great tribulations, such not since the beginning of the world to this time. It's something about to happen on planet Earth. It never happened. Since this planet been inhabited by people. No, nor ever shall be. Verse 22. And except those days shall be shortened, there should be no flesh saved. So Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, pulling his sword out, which he was blessed with, going back to the book of Genesis, the 27th chapter. I want to say he started around the 41st verse. He was blessed with that modern day sword, which is the gun today. He gonna go on a killing spree. The Most High say, and except those days shall be shortened, there shall be no flesh saved. This madman, he fixed to come put all the Israelites to death. He coming to kill everybody. To 2/3. Y'all fixing to die. They're believing in Christianity, in those plantation slave doctrine buildings, and all the other man-made philosophies, doctrines, Seventh-day Adventists, Pentecostal, the Book of Mormons, Islam. Whatever our people are tied into all this madness, Esau is gonna put y'all to death. The Most High say, there shall be no flesh saved. So y'all will die a horrible, violent death. But for the elect's sake, they shall be shortened. So the Most High will shorten the days for the hopeful elect's sake. But your 2/3, you can forget it. You will forget it. You will die a horrible, violent death. I'm going to go to the book of Wisdom of Solomon. So like Israel, I had a long day. I've been up ever since 3 o'clock this morning. I'm tired, but I got to put the work in, you know. I've been up ever since 3 o'clock this morning, you know, but I got to put in the work. So Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 11. I'm going to start at verse 17. I'm going to read it through verse 19. For thy almighty hand that made the world a matter without form, only not mean to send among them a multitude of bears or fierce lions. So even in the days that's coming up, man, the Most High, he's going to release Salaki, all these animals that Esau have trapped up in those Jews, He gonna release them. It's something about to happen on this planet Earth that you never seen before. The Most High, He gonna release them. Okay? The Almighty, He's going to release them. I'm gonna read it again. For the Almighty hand had made the world matter without form, wanted not me to send among them the multitudes of bears and fierce lions. They coming out of those zoos, the Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, the filthy, dirty dragon, the damn devil that the Bible speaks of. The Most High, He gonna release them. He gonna come, and these animals and these bears and lions are about to come to wreak havoc on you 2/3 so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans that forsake Yahweh to serve the so-called white man, Esau, Edom, and his philosophies and his doctrines, his ways of living, his democracy, all his different man-made philosophies and doctrines. Verse 18, or unknown wild beasts. So the Most High, he let this damn devil, Esau, Edom, the damn mad scientist, he go into his lab and he create, splitting the genes, he creating newly created beasts. The Most High let him do it. The Most High put it up on his heart. I'm going to read it again. Or unknown wild beasts. The Most High let this man scientist, he gave him the capability to go in the lab and create some new wild beasts. This for you 2/3 Israelites. Hey, the Most High terrible. Y'all about to find out. Y'all don't believe it, but you ought to find out. Hey, full of rage. Newly created. Look, listen to this, Israel. Breathing out either a fiery vapor or filthy scent, scatter smoke, or shooting horrible sparks out of their eyes. Now watch this, Israel. This how cold the Most High is. This was about to happen in the time of Jacob's trouble. Y'all ain't seen nothing yet. Now listen to this. Verse 19. Wherefore not only the harm might dispatch them at once, the harm, the Most High, He's going to dispatch them. Now watch this though. But also the terrible sight utterly destroy them. These newly created beasts gonna be so ugly and wicked looking. When you look at it, they're gonna put your ass to death. Just by the sight of it. That's what y'all gotta look forward to. You wicked 2/3 Israelites, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. See, it ain't funny. I can laugh at it because I understand what's going on. And hopefully, we understand what's going on. You have no idea what's about to happen. Something that looks so terrible. Don't mention that they can shoot sparks out of their mouth and out of their eyes and give off a funky, foul, stinking odor. But just to look at it will put your ass to death. Man, the Most High is terrible. Y'all keep on playing games y'all want to. Y'all about to find out. They ain't teaching y'all any Christianity, plantation slave doctrine, man. And the Most High he come and jack y'all ass up. Keep on playing games, Israel. Y'all about to find out. Y'all about to find out. Man, the Most High is playing no damn game with y'all wicked asses, man. Keep on playing games. It's almost over. We're going to 2 Corinthians. There we go. 2 Corinthians chapter 5. And we'll start at verse 10. For we must all appear before the judgment seat of Hamashiach Yahweh Shah, who were even called Jesus Christ. And everyone have received the things done in the body, according to that they had done, whether they be good or bad. So the wicked Israelites, you're going to have to face the Most High Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shai. And his judgment on the earth. They're not, when you pass on, as they teach you in the Christian anti-slave plantation slave doctrine, that you die and you go underground and you be tormented. No. Knowing therefore the terror of the Lord persuade men. So the terror of the Lord, some people, when we teach them, we have compassionate for them, and when we talk to them in a soft way. But some, we have to, verse 11, knowing therefore the terror of the Lord will persuade men. So sometimes we have to tell them what the Most High going to do to them, to persuade them to change their wicked ways, to turn back to the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai. And we persuade men, but we are made manifest unto Yahweh, and trust also, and made manifest in your conscience. So some men or women we have to persuade through fear. The time of Jacob's trouble is at hand. So let me get Job. Job 8. No, my bad. Salaki is real. Job 18. In verse 14. His confidence shall be rooted out. Now this is for Esau Edom, the so-called white man, but it also applies to the 2/3. Chapter 18, verse 14. His confidence shall be rooted out in his tabernacle. This is pertaining to Esau Edom, but it also can apply to the 2/3, right? And it shall bring him to the king of terrors. Who is the king of terrors? It's Yahweh. Yahweh, who we're even called God. He is the king of terrors. And by men we persuade. Hey, the Most High is a terrible power, man. So the time of Jacob's trouble is at hand. And hey, man, it's a great slaughter. Great death and destruction is coming. So hopefully, this is an edifying lesson. I'm kind of troubled in the spirit right now. Hopefully it made sense and I brought it out the best of my ability, or the best of the ability that Yahweh put up on me to bring it out. But the Most High is terrible all the way around, So hopefully there was an edifying lesson. And I'm really sorrowful right now, and I'm kind of drained because we understand, hopefully we understand what's about to happen. All this death and destruction. What's about to come up on the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, but our people not hearing. So I'm going to close it out. And I'm going to give all praise to Yahweh, by Shem Yahushai, by Shem Kakadash. And I would like to give double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that pushing the truth and teaching the truth in sincerity. I've learned a lot from the brothers and the apostles and the elders. And much love go out to you, brothers. Man, I love y'all. I love you, brothers. You know, I can't say it enough. But until next time, it's real. Shalom.